This is definitely going to be the biggest idea that we talk about during Chapter 9, and it's the idea of volume and surface area of three-dimensional figures. So first of all, what is volume? Volume is the size of the three-dimensional space inside an object as we measure in cubic units. So get this into your toolkit, write it down. Think of it as this. Think if you had a big figure here and there's a hole in it and you could pour sand inside of it. It would be like how much sand could fit inside that figure. Surface area is a little different. Surface area is the area of all the external faces, and we measure that in square units. And rather than the amount of sand we could actually, squish inside that figure, think of it as this. If we were going to paint that object on the outside, how much paint would it need? It would cover up a certain amount of square feet, and so that's what we call surface area. There's two formulas that we're going to be working with, so take a minute and get these into your toolkit. The first formula has to do with volume, and that's the area of the base times the height. And the second one for surface area is 2 times the base area plus the perimeter of your base times the height. And keep in mind this works only with prisms and cylinders. It doesn't necessarily work for any other objects here, so I just want to make that clear as well. So get these formulas into your toolkit, and now let's actually at this moment in time go ahead and use it to solve for a couple of problems. So the first problem we're going to look at is this one over here where we have what we call a triangular prism. And it's triangular because the top and bottom are both triangles here, and it's a right triangle as well here, so make sure you note that as well. So what we want to do is we want to find the area of the base, the height, and the perimeter of the base, and that'll help us figure out the volume and the surface area. So first of all, to find the area of the base, I'm going to write base area right here. Well, the base is just a right triangle, and it's 3 here, and this side is 6. So we have a base, we have a height, and it's just a right triangle here. So to find the area of that particular triangle, we're going to take 3 times 6 and divide by 2. 3 times 6 is 18, and 18 divided by 2 is 9. So that's going to be our base area, and we'll use that later in the formula. Also, we do know that the height is right here. That's h. So I'm going to say my height equals 5 units. And then the last thing we need is we need to know the perimeter of this base here. I know 2 of the sides are 3 and 6. I don't know this side, so I'm going to call it x. And fortunate for us, this is a right triangle here, so we can figure out what x is. So we'll use the Pythagorean theorem. So we'll take 3 squared plus 6 squared, so that equal to x squared. Well, 3 squared is obviously 9, and 6 squared is 36, so we get this. Then x squared is equal to 45, and then finally x is the square root of 45. So we'll use that right now to find the perimeter of the base. So you'll need your calculator. And what we would do is we'd say the base perimeter, I'm going to write P-E-R-I-M for perimeter, we are going to add up the 3 sides here. So 3 plus 6, 3 plus 6, plus the square root of 45, which is our third side that we just discovered. Grab your calculator, enter that in, and what we do as a decimal is we end up getting 15.71. So now we're going to use these 3 numbers right here, our 9, our 5, and our 15.71 to actually calculate the volume. So the volume is simply, as the formula states up here, the area of the base times the height. Well, the area of the base is 9. Your height is 5. 9 times 5 is 45. And remember, we measure this in cubic units. So it's going to be units with a 3 up here. So that's cubic units. Surface area is a little more difficult here. Remember, it was basically the paint it would take to cover all the sides here. So to cover the bottom and the top, it would be 2 times the area of the base. So it'll be 2 times 9. And to cover the sides, as we talk about in class, the other sides here, this side, and the back side over here, actually makes a rectangle. And it turns out if you take the perimeter of the base times the height, that's how you find it. So the perimeter of the base is 15.71, and the height of this was 5. So grab your calculators. 2 times 9 is 18, plus this, and you wind up getting, when you're all done here, 96.55, and that will be square units. We're talking about area. That's 2-dimensional, so we're going to say square units. So that's how you'd find the area of this triangular prism. Now let's take another figure here. Let me get rid of this gray area here. So I'm going to get rid of the gray area, and we are showing now a cylinder. And so what we always want to do, like I was saying earlier, is we want to find the area of the base, the height, and the perimeter of the base. So let's find the area of this base here. Well, that's just a circle here. That's what a cylinder is. It's a circle on top and bottom. So to find the base area, we need to take pi times the radius squared. So pi times Well, what's the radius? Well, the diameter is 6, therefore the radius is half of that, or 3. So it's going to be pi times 3 squared. 3 squared is 9, so it's 9 pi. And that's in pi units, and that's fine. We'll deal with that later. Also, if we want to find the base perimeter, let's write that out here, that would be simply the perimeter of a circle. Well, how do you find the perimeter of a circle? Well, it's the circumference. So that would be 2 times pi times your radius. Well, the radius is 3. 2 times 3 is 6, so it ends up being 6 pi. And finally, our height of the cylinder is 4 centimeters. And we'll worry about the units later here. So let's go ahead now and figure out the volume. Our volume would be the base area times the height. Well, the base area is 9 pi, that's that number right there, and the height is 4, so it'll be 4 times 9 pi. 4 times 9 is 36, so we have 36 pi, and that'll be centimeters cubed. Now, if you want to go ahead and turn this into decimal, that's fine. You can leave it as 36 pi and leave it in pi form, but if you were to decimalize this, you would get 113.10. That would be 36 times pi, and make sure you use the pi button in your calculator. To find surface area, it will be 2 times the area of the base, so 2 times 9 pi, plus the base perimeter, which would be 6 pi, times the height, which is 4. 2 times 9 is 18, so we've got 18 pi. 6 times 4 is 24, that's 24 pi. Altogether, 18 and 24 is 42, so we have 42 pi, and that would be centimeters squared in this case here, so square centimeters. And if you want to go ahead and turn that into a decimal, you can. You don't have to, though. 42 times pi would be 131.95, and once again that would be centimeters squared, so that's what it would be approximately. So that's how you find volume and surface area of both prisms and cylinders.